Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the Fan Show. Happy Tuesday to you, or as we call it here on the show, Happy Fan Show Monday, even though I'm probably the only person in the world that calls it that. There's really no such thing. But hey, you know, we do what we do because it makes us happy. Speaking of making us happy, tomorrow, tomorrow. I had my days mixed up. So back to my oh yeah voice. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Now, for those of you that don't know the rule, let's drop some knowledge. The rule is that if you are under the age of 18 and not entering into what you believe to be a serious relationship by February, you're safe, man. Like, if February hits and you've just gotten into a relationship, you're not obligated to do anything on Valentine's Day because 2 weeks, you don't know. Maybe a little novelty box of chocolates, right? Like they sell at Walmart. Maybe some cheap flowers, fake ones, a teddy bear. There's no expectation if you're in that relationship come February 1st. Now, before that, you're in a world of hurt. If you got into a relationship on New Year's, you best believe there's an expectation. Christmas, yeah, but Valentine's Day, it's the perfect marker because 2 weeks or less, I'm not even mad. If I was in a relationship and they didn't get anything from me for Valentine's Day, I'm not upset. 2 weeks, like, what's the expectation level at that point? Like, can we hold hands in the hallway? Like, what's going on? Are we gonna kiss under the bleachers? I don't know. But the rest of the holidays, right? Christmas, that one, if you got into that relationship December 1st, my birthday, you're probably screwed. 25 days is a bit much to try to hold off the, I don't, you know, I didn't know what was going on. I've been super busy. So Valentine's Day has a beautiful cutoff, okay? If you get into a relationship after February 1st, no expectations. But anytime, like I said, if you were one of those people that hopped into one for Christmas in January and you didn't break it off like you were maybe planning to or have been contemplating for the last few weeks, you're locked in. You are pretty much locked in at this point because you don't want to be that guy or girl that breaks it off the day before Valentine's Day because you didn't want to have to give them a gift. I mean, just don't get them a gift. Like, I mean, and then have that talk, but you don't want to be labeled as that person. Nobody likes that person. So tomorrow is Valentine's Day. If you're like me, though, me and my wife, we celebrate the day after. And why not? Like, what's the pressure of celebrating a superficial day? A day that is supposed to remind you that there is such a thing as like romance and some bounce. I don't know what Valentine's Day is supposed to do beyond like being 23 because in all honesty, like when you're in school, Valentine's Day is just like, let's see if someone has a crush on me. And then, you know, the rest of the years, it's just like, oh, I should probably get my girlfriend something nice because I've been, you know, working this part-time job and trying to get my life figured out as far as what I'm going to do after high school. And then after high school, it's just like, that girl that I don't know. Should I get her something for Valentine's? What's her last name? I don't know. So we celebrate the day after because everything is half off after any holiday, after Valentine's Day. So you can go into Safeway, Walmart, wherever, and there's still all the chocolates and the candies and even some of the like little stuffed animals, even some of the big stuffed animals. Like, you don't have first pick, right? But this is like, you're not going to get Carson Wentz by shopping after the day, but you could get Tom Brady. You could. That was a late pick. So we don't understand why it's so much is focused on the day. So we have our un-Valentine's Day celebration where tomorrow We're going to let the couples and everybody else do their thing. Everybody that works in hotels, motels, in the restaurant industry, my thoughts and prayers are with you. Godspeed, good people of the service industry. Godspeed. There's going to be some proposals. There's going to be some excitement, some laughs, some tears. All of that mixed in because people, for whatever, and I'm not knocking people that focus on the day of Valentine's Day. If it's one of the days that you like to celebrate, go for it. But keep in mind that Valentine's Day is one of those few holidays that it kind of takes two to celebrate it, right? With Christmas, that's like you and your family. Thanksgiving, you and your family. New Year's, you could be out by yourself flying solo and have a countdown beyond all countdowns by yourself. And nobody's going to look at you funny. But if you show up alone to a restaurant on Valentine's Day, that's when the judgment comes. Not from me, because I don't care. But from other people, it's just like, why is that person sitting at the bar alone? It's Valentine's Day. They don't have someone else. Stop looking. Okay. I looked again. So yeah, on Valentine's Day. That's something I'm trying to make a thing. February 15th. When everything is half price and you can go and get twice as much for half the price. It's a beautiful thing. Try it sometime with you and your significant other because you can still go out. You can still see a movie. Those are happening still. You can still buy chocolates and flowers. They still have those year round. You can buy stuffed animals. You don't have to designate a day. It's all right. I love it, though. We've had more fun the last 3 years celebrating on Valentine's Day than we ever did celebrating Valentine's Day because there's no pressure. There's just not. There's no, did you make sure you made dinner reservations? I went to the store and they were completely out of chocolates. It's like you go into a Safeway or a Walmart the day after knowing that it's going to be like not maybe your top 3 picks of candy or flowers or stuffed animals, but you're going to get the best one available for half the price, if not more. So on Valentine's Day, make it a thing. Celebrate it. I encourage you because it's a lot of fun. So today we start the official offseason for the F.A.N show. Last week, Thursday, with Farouk. He made the big announcement, the news bomb that was BattleBots is coming back for Season 3 on the Science and Discovery Network. And it's going to start taping this spring and airing shortly after. And good move on them for waiting until after the Olympics. Last time they were competing with the Summer Games and then, of course, all the political BS and the campaigning. So it was just, they were put in a tough spot. ABC, not necessarily a network or a broadcast station that I believe has a lot of bot fans out there. The Science and Discovery Channel, though, that is everything that you would expect it to be. I mean, let's just be real here. That is your cup of tea. That is your bread and butter. So, best of luck to them. I think they're going to be awesome. I think they're going to be very well off. And then we had our unofficial season finale like we do every year here. He celebrated a bit of his Eagles victory. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, coming up in about 10 minutes, though, because off-season means season. Like, we are in full swing right now. Because the F.A.N show tour kicks off next week. We are just, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days from when I fly out to Phoenix, 13 until I'm at the Rattlers season opener, last year's United Bowl champion. They will take on the team that they met in the United Bowl, which, of course, was the Sioux Falls Storm. They just got their rings last night, the day before. Beautiful rings, though. Saw a few photos from that celebration, from that party, so good on them. So they're going to try to repeat. They're going to defend, go back-to-back. IFL season starts next week. NAL, the National Arena League, will start a little later on, and I do have those trips to try and book. Booking flights across the country is not easy. I hate being in Spokane for one of these reasons, which is that anytime I want to go beyond like Colorado, it costs me like an arm, leg, liver, and a firstborn child. And I hate that. But we're going to make this work. F.A.N Show Tour 2018, just 12 days away, 10 days away from the start of the indoor football season. So that is something to look forward to. And with that, then, we are full steam ahead into the countdown to kickoff. Marshall Hart, Spokane, born and raised, local boy. You know him from the Spokane Wolfpack as well as the Spokane Empire. Played for the Wolfpack, coached for the Empire. I had the privilege of getting to know him a little better with the Wolfpack last year. We can reminisce about that since he is now in Nebraska as the offensive line specialist for the Danger. So he'll be coming up here in just under 10 minutes. So we'll talk to him. But, of course, with every episode, there must be the headlines. And the headlines are that the Olympic Winter Games are underway, and I have not watched a minute of it. I used to snowboard, too. And man, there's something about the Winter Games that I can't go all in on. And I think it's largely in part to the fact that it starts right after Super Bowl, right after the NFL season is done. Like, I can't go from investing 1 to 2 nights, maybe even 3 a week, and all the roller coaster that is, to trying to figure out a TV schedule for events that have already happened because they're all the way around the world from us, and they're happening back to, like, there's not designated days or nights that you can be like, oh, Thursday night at 10, I can tune in. That'll be when hockey happens. I mean, there's a schedule, but it's chaos, really. If you are not an Olympic enthusiast or fanatic like me, it's hard as hell to try to like tune. Like, you can set your DVR and record like 25 hours of Olympic Games and have to skip through everything going on, and you might not even catch everything that you want to. My interest would be hockey. It's pretty big, right? Hockey's a big one. Snowboarding, though. I really wanted to watch the snowboarding events, but it's so hard to keep up. Mentally, if you're a sports fan, when February hits, you're exhausted. February is like the down month for all of sports. It really is. The indoor leagues, the indoor football league, won't even start until the end of this month. March Madness is next month. The pitchers and catchers start reporting at the end of this week, I think. Basketball is going and hockey is going, but it's not quite the most crucial point of the season. There was the trade deadline for the NBA that happened last week, which that was quite the thing, I guess. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but I know that the Cavs traded like everybody, and it looks like they are now younger, new, and improved, and hungry as ever. So good on them, I suppose. But it's February. The second that the Super Bowl is over, the confetti has fallen, and the team has had a parade. I don't even know if I think the parade's a big deal for each team, but, once the confetti falls and the trophies have been presented and everybody starts to make their way home and you have your reactions and your thoughts, you're mentally just burnt out. You really are. So, Olympic Winter Games are going on, but man, they gotta. Why can't the Olympic Winter Games be happening in like, I don't know, November, December? I realize that they would be competing with the NFL, but if it's only once every 4 years, I feel like that's, where the NFL is doing Thursday night, which isn't needed. So, hey, maybe we reevaluate that. Let's not have Thursday night. So if it goes for 2 weeks every 4 years, and all you have to worry about is Sunday and Monday night for those 2 weeks, I feel like we can come to a compromise. I really do. And I feel like that would be great for those networks and everything, because you're in winter mode right now. After the new year, after Christmas, after football, we're ready for sunny. Okay, we're not ready for downhill skiing and half pipes and whatever else is going on, the luge or curling. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't get into the Winter Olympics. I really can't. I hope that doesn't make me un-American. Oh, wow. So anyway, but the rest of the headlines that I do have a personal interest in, is that the Colts have finally found a head coach after, well, we remember Josh McDaniels pulled out, which, that never ends well anyway. But he pulled out, went back to New England. He's probably going to take over for Belichick, although everybody's saying there's no guarantee. And there's a guarantee. So the Colts hire Frank Reich, will become the first Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator to become head coach of a different team the following season, since Mike Shanahan won the Super Bowl with the 1994 49ers and became the Broncos head coach. So he was the Eagles offensive coordinator, and he was the favorite after the whole Josh McDaniels thing, and he has agreed to a 5-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. Colts made it official. He signed on the dotted line. This all happened a couple of days ago. There's the NFL Pro-Am, football players playing golf. Linebacker of the 49ers, Reuben Foster, faces domestic violence and assault weapon charges. The 49ers and their defensive players having off-the-field issues is really alarming to me, because there's other teams that have that stigma and that stereotype. That hasn't been the 49ers, but my God, Aldon Smith and his repeat offenses, just he couldn't get right. And I hope that Reuben Foster can. But if I'm Lynch and Shanahan, I'm thinking, we just signed Jimmy G and paid all that money, and I know that he's a good player, but this Reuben Foster thing is not what we need right now. So I don't know. They're professionals. They'll deal with it as they may. But as a 49ers fan, that just burns you out. It really does. Let's see what else we've got here. Former Colts Pro Bowl cornerback Vontae Davis was released over a medical issue in November, and a free agent now has been cleared from his core injury surgery done late in the season. Teams are expected to have interest prior to the free agency. No duh there. Arizona Cardinals and general manager Steve Keim, I always forget how you pronounce his last name, have agreed to a contract extension through 2022. And then, let's see, Colts owner Jim Irsay announced a $25,000 gift to establish the Edwin Jackson Memorial Scholarship in honor of the Colts linebacker who lost his life February 4th in a traffic accident. Scholarship will be awarded annually to qualified student applicants. Let's see here. What else has happened over the weekend? The Ravens and Bears will play a Thursday night Hall of Fame game in August. The Colts are hiring Chargers wide receiver coach Nick Sirianni to be their offensive coordinator. So pieces already falling in place and moving and shaking happen in Indianapolis. And you kind of need to at this point, don't you? You kind of have to go just like, we got some ground to make up. We thought we had it. We didn't. And we're going to be behind the 8 ball here come draft in the offseason. So, it is what it is. Chiefs linebacker Derek Johnson, his contract is voided after this season, and he will now become an unrestricted free agent. 35-year-old Johnson, who was famous for making 2 game-changing plays in the wild-card game against the Titans that were nullified due to penalties, wants to play more seasons. That's per Adam Schefter. The Chiefs do not plan to bring him back, however. They want to go younger at linebacker, so there will be one more veteran linebacker on the market. Hey, 49ers, looking for that veteran leadership for a guy that's still got plenty left in the tank, came from a great defense. I don't see why not. Let's get him. And, that will about do it for all of today's headlines. Don't forget that tomorrow is the last day, midnight Pacific, so 3 Eastern, midnight Pacific, that you can vote for the F.A.N show as the 2018 Spokane Entrepreneurship Award winner, Best Media. So I think all of you that have voted, have shared, have participated. It is really a truly humbling and heartwarming feeling to see the reaction and the support and the endorsements that I've gotten. So that will take us to our commercial break. I'm going to go get Marshall, and we're going to talk some indoor football right after this.
This is The Sheet.
Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw that Scott hates him.
Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns, 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten if they were in the Big Ten. You could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. I'm proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? Just you walk outside, step in a puddle, like right when you walk outside. I mean, how does a puddle right outside your house? Are you stand on the curb and somebody drives by and splashes water up on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, before you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks.
Good. Here, listen to the sheet, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports, and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
This is Nick Ciccarelli, the mad scientist of sports. Join me and Dr. D, Derek Jones, live every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific, for the Mad Scientist Sports Lab. The big intellect, the experiments on the chalkboard, and the guest subjects will be rolling in. Mad Scientist Sports Lab, only on WBLZ Sports, where we got balls.
Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. He has over 30 years of painting experience. He's interior, exterior, commercial or residential. Doug Peffer covers it all. Is your house looking ugh? We'll call on Doug. Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361. Mention WBLZ Sports and get a special We've Got Balls discount. That's Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361.
Check out Thursday Night Tailgate, where NFL legends live on. We bring you 5 NFL legends every week, sharing their stories and insights, plus our spotlight on the positive. Hear which players are doing great things in their communities. Now on WBLZ Sports Talk Radio and WBLZSports.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and with me is Spokane stud Marshall Hart. You know him from the Spokane Wolfpack, but he is now in Nebraska. Marshall, how you doing?
I'm good, Rich. How you doing today?
Doing better now that I'm talking to your sexy ass. How's things in Nebraska?
Oh, man, making me blush. Nebraska's good, man. It's making me blush, man. It's good down here, man. It's nice. It's quiet. It's getting warm today. You know, we survived a blizzard. What felt like this last week, and we're getting there.
So, you know, you were with the Empire coaching, and then you played for the Wolfpack. So your resume is very decorated, and now you get a chance to add even more to that resume with a team that has been very competitive in this league over the years, including last year. And they had a really good squad. But now there's a new head coach. There's been quite a bit of change to the coaching staff. What sold you on going to Nebraska when they gave you the call?
Yeah, you know, I had a couple of different options, you know, kind of this summer. And I tried to figure out, to be honest with you, you know, where the best fit for me was. You know, being so young and being in a position like this, it's really about who I surround myself with. You know, Coach Shackelford and I are so close, and he kind of gave me the advice. You know, it's going to be a great situation down here in Nebraska. You know, ownership's great. So, I talked to Coach Stout for a little bit on the phone, and, Coach Stout's the new head coach, and, kind of sold. He's extremely professional, very on point with everything. I thought it was really the best place for me to grow, to be honest with you, and best place for me to have that situation where all I have to worry about is football. I don't have to worry about any of the little things that go on behind the scenes. And it's been better than advertised down here. It's a first-class organization.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you speak highly of them, because they'll, they're going to need to have the right pieces in place in order to repeat last year's success, including going beyond that, i.e. to a United Bowl championship. But, there was a lot of lost pieces over the offseason as far as key players from last year's squad. What's been sort of the need and the void that you guys have taken special attention to in filling this offseason?
Yeah, Coach Stout's a real culture guy. So he's a Patriots disciple. So a lot of what we do is finding the right pieces that fit our organization. In New England, you might not have the best, most talented players, but you have people that always know how to do their job, and people that are disciplined enough to be in that culture and to have that high level of not only just accountability, but success and preparation. So really, we brought in a bunch of guys that all have that same mentality. All are, we're all bought in. We're all ready to go. We're here to worry about football. We're here to win a championship. We're here to help these guys move on to the next level. We had Xavier Jackson, the career leader in sacks. So Xavier's been great here in camp so far. He's 77 sacks his career, and I think he might be, 20 or 30 higher than the second most guy. And he's been really great with his leadership, helping the young guys. I have a group of really young offensive line, so having Xavier there to show them just the little things that he does that have made him so successful and how we can counter that has really been great.
Yeah, I saw that there was a trade alert yesterday. You guys picked up Tyrell Pearson, who is a big stud in Green Bay, which is another cultural type of team in this league. Was that something that went through the thought process for picking him up, or was it other factors included?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it was a little bit of he's extremely talented, and it's how do we get another talented player into our training camp? You hear the iron, the adage, iron sharpens iron. It's having another player that has that high level of ability that's really going to help raise, our receivers level and the other DBs level. He has experience and just get another body in there.
So what would you say if you had to pick like a word or somewhere between 1 and 5 words to describe the culture that Coach Stout has implemented in Nebraska? What best describes it?
Man, I think accountability would probably be my key word. Accountability. It's knowing what you're supposed to do at all points in time. It's studying on your own. Football is such a team game. It's not just the team success, but it's your player's safety. If I miss my assignment on doing something, let's say we're running a toss or something, and I'm supposed to block somebody, and I miss, that's the running back safety that's in jeopardy. So me doing my job and being accountable to my teammates is really what's going to help us take that next step. And that's really what Coach Stout's really hammered in so far.
Now, as far as the action that happened in the offseason, so Rob Brown went to another team in the NAL, and then Drew Powell is with the Barnstormers now. And then, of course, there was the tragic passing of Carl Sims. Those are all big-time playmakers on the offense. How, if at all, do you go about replacing them and making sure that your core, as far as that culture, remains? Like you're not laxing on one to get to another.
Yeah, and that was a big question that we had when we came in. Coach Stout's a totally different coach than the last coach. So it's having Coach Stout coming in, and two, he wants to establish his culture. We have two pretty started good quarterbacks in camp right now. We have Damian Fleming, who was the quarterback for Jacksonville last year. When they won the NAL, and was also the quarterback for Colorado 2 years ago when he threw 76 touchdowns. So we have another guy, Jesse Scroggins, who's incredibly talented as well. We have a pretty good quarterback battle going on at camp. We brought in guys like Angelo Pease, Eric Thomas, who was there last year, a big playmaker receiver. My gosh, he looks so good in camp. We have these guys that are going to fit our culture and fit what we're looking to do, and then we'll work from there. If you get somebody, this game is 90% mental and 10% physical. So if we get guys to buy into what we're saying and guys to buy into the offense, Coach Shack is running the offense, and he has an Arena Cup championship and so many conference championship wins, so many conference championship appearances. And, having these people that buy into the culture and buy into the coaching and the scheme is really the most important part of the whole deal.
Were you guys able to bring anyone else from Spokane over with you? Because they kind of scattered, once the team dissolved and then all these other teams popped up.
Oh, man, Amir had to take everybody to work. Massachusetts with him, that son of a gun, man. I'll tell you what. But, we did kind of scatter. Some people are, a lot of them are in the NAL now. A lot of them went to go play for Amir in Boston. Obviously Nick and Squally there over there, But, we didn't really bring any of us to Spokane. Everybody kind of went their own ways or retired. Pretty much my whole offensive line last year retired. Kyle Fisher's living in Spokane. Jonah, they all got great jobs in Spokane, really touching themselves and moving on with their lives. So we don't have anybody yet. We don't have anybody yet from Spokane.
Well, of course, anything can happen during the season. But as far as your guys' camps and everything has it been running rather smoothly? Like, is it growing pains with a whole new coaching staff and now a lot of new faces on the team?
Yeah, there are some growing pains. I think just as a team in general, with a bunch of guys that haven't really played together. But to be honest with you, Coach Shaq and I have worked together for the last 3 years, and Coach Shaq and Coach Sal have known each other for so long that there are as many growing pains as the coaching staff, especially all together, just because some of us are on the same page already, and some of us kind of know our role. Coach Sal does such a good job, to be honest with you, coaching that really there has been minimal growing pains.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, last year at about this time, you had the best of both worlds because you were coaching for the Empire and then you were playing for the Wolfpack, which I've had a few meetings with the Wolfpack getting everything going. So now that you're coaching and you're coaching in a different location, was last year your last time playing, or is that something that, if the opportunity presents itself in the next couple of years that you take it up on that? But last year seemed kind of like it was the perfect situation to do both.
Yeah, it was. I have a lot of guys that I played with, in college, other, all-star games or whatever that I knew that were on the Wolfpack already. So, and that really helped my choice. Coach McCullough, the coach from Wolfpack last year, and I were friends previously. So, it was one of those deals where it was a perfect situation. I really wasn't going to play. And then, it ended up being one weekend. There was we got back the day of, maybe it was the Wenatchee game that, we got the back the day of, and I was like, well, shoot, I might as well go play. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. So, to be honest with you, it's kind of, bring the old fat guy out of retirement and, give him to play. But, maybe, who knows? The weight, playing offensive line, it's hard to keep that weight on. So, who knows? It might happen again. I know a lot of the guys from Spokane left, and a lot of the guys that I was close with all left. And now, that was part of the fun, to be honest with you, is, none of us obviously on that team were playing to move on. A lot of it was just, keep playing to play and, really spending that time with those guys and having those memories. So who knows? Eventually it might make a comeback, but, as long as my coaching career will take me, that's going to be where I go.
Yeah, and you guys, I wonder what it would take if they were down a lineman for you to just, have the pads on sort of under your polo, and then at halftime you go and change it up. Because clearly you can do both.
Man, I'll tell you what, if you see me on an NFL football field, that's when you just turn the TV off, man. This little 5'8" guy out there, man, I would end up on my back so fast. Oh boy, I would look silly.
Well, you guys kicked the season off hosting the Cedar Rapids Titans, which I don't know if you heard, they kind of have the big guns there at their head coach and Marvin Jones, and we all love Marvin, don't we?
Marvin is back.
Yeah, Marvin is back with a vengeance. He's got unfinished business. And, when I talked to him earlier, he was very excited about the opportunity to build something from the ground up. It's kind of what Nebraska is doing because realistically, Iowa, Green Bay, Sioux Falls, and Arizona, they've got their stuff situated and established kind of at the key points, coach, quarterback, things like that. But you guys are going to be sort of the new kids on the block. So is there any pressure? What kind of pressure on not only opening at home, but opening the season against another very hungry team building from the ground up?
Yeah, it's kind of a two-sided coin, to be honest with you. We play Cedar Rapids this weekend. We play them in a preseason game this Saturday. So we'll go down. We'll get a chance to see him a week before. We played Coach Jones 3 times last year. I really like Coach Jones. I think he's a tremendous individual. I actually think we spoke when he got that job at Cedar Rapids, and he's getting some talent down there. I'll tell you what, they're starting to get some guys down there. Coach Jones, he coaches that defense extremely well. And I heard there were some people that followed him from Colorado, and he'll have some guys, and they'll play tough. It's really going to be, these first 2 weeks for us are about finding our identity. It's, who are we as the Nebraska Danger, especially on offense. And kind of having those growing pains early and going through that now and figuring out who we are. I'll tell you what, under Coach Stout, we're going to be an aggressive, hard-hitting football team. It'll be really fun to see how that manifests itself in these first couple weeks.
Is there a more intimidating guy in the IFL that could step out onto that field than Coach Marvin Jones?
Oh, man. I think he's top 5. I'll tell you what, man, his biceps might burst out of that shirt. I think they should probably get him an extender for that polo. They should probably get a little, like with a hat, like that extender thing. They might have to go in for his biceps. I'll tell you what. I never want to be in a picture with that guy. That looks like a water boy.
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he's like top 3 for me because Kevin Guy's rather intimidating, but he's that coach, that cerebral assassin coach. Where Marvin Jones is just like he walks out there on that field, and you're wondering, is he going to suit up or is he going to coach? Like, what's he doing right now? I don't know what's going on.
My top 3 could be Marvin Jones. Kevin Guy gives this look sometimes. I see him look. Where if I lined up with somebody, that's what the look Kevin Guy look. I would probably be done right there. And then Coach Corey Johnson in Sioux Falls, obviously the Hall of Famer. I don't want to see that guy either. That's another guy that'll make me look silly.
Well, you guys will kick off the season, and so you guys obviously have, your priorities in order and as far as a plan of attack for when Cedar Rapids comes to Nebraska. But then you guys are actually my technically 3rd stop on the tour. I'll fly into Iowa March 10th for the Iowa Rattlers game, and then I will drive over to my first time to Grand Island, Nebraska for you guys in the Green Bay Blizzard.
Oh, man. Grant, you know what? It's funny. Before I came down, I wasn't sure what to expect at Grand Island, but it's a pretty good place. They got a good diner in Dwight Rich. We'll go. We'll go hit it up. It's got the best chicken fried steak you'll ever eat. I'll put money on it.
As long as you know the way around town, I'm all for whatever Marshall wants to do because, if it's cow tipping or if it's mechanical bulls, I don't know, but I'm sure that you'll find something fun.
Now, Rich, the mechanical bull is definitely on the list. The mechanical bull and cow tipping. I'm sure we can find some cattle around here. We'll get you going a little bit. We'll get you on that cow. We might have to make it a live bowl. I mean, why don't we just step it up? I mean, really, I think that would get the most views for the fan show. A live stream of Rich riding the live bull in a pasture. That might be the best way to go.
I think that would break the internet with clicks, and I don't know if my website could handle it. So it's something that I'll do for the show, for entertainment. So you got a deal there. We will find something fun to do after that game, hopefully after a win from you guys, and we'll celebrate and have a blasty blast in Nebraska.
Man, I tell you what, that's a selfless host right there. That's riding that bull. Oh man, that's selfless. That's for the fans right there. Tell you what, man, thinking an offensive line coach to go eat with is not the worst pick.
Is riding a mechanical bull like a requirement as far as conditioning or to make a spot on the team for a team like Nebraska?
Well, I thought I had the job. I came down here and I show up and Scout's like, "Well, you're in Nebraska. We got to go ride a mechanical bull, obviously." And he's like, if you could, 8 seconds, and you get your job. So.
Get your job in 8 seconds. Wow.
Yeah, well, it's like I got to ride a bull for 8 seconds. So you ride it for 8 seconds. You prove you belong.
Wow. All right. I guess that's what it takes nowadays in the IFL. But I'm glad you got the spot. I look forward to my first visit to the Nebraska Danger and seeing what you guys are all about. So I will hopefully talk to Coach Stout soon. I think I got your guys' newest acquisition from Green Bay scheduled to be on soon. So we'll get to know this new Nebraska Danger team. But of course, since you're homegrown from here in Spokane and we miss indoor football up here, and I got to spend some quality time with you, whether it was wanted or unwanted, with the Wolfpack last season, I figured, hey, let's see how Marshall's doing.
That's right. Yeah, it was great last year. We had some fun times on the road.
Yeah, too much time in a car between games and after games. So, all right, Marshall. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. Great catching up, and I'll see you in about a month.
All right, Rich. Sounds good. See you then.
All right. Take care, man.
All right. Bye.
That was Marshall Hart. Marshall Hart, the offensive line specialist for the Nebraska Danger, brought in largely in part due to the fact that Coach Shack is there coaching the offense. So we'll get to know Coach Stout, head coach of the Nebraska Danger, and some of their players, hopefully before the season kicks off here in a couple weeks. But yes, that game, that is the first one of the season, 10 days away, February 23rd. In Grand Island, Nebraska. If you would like to tune in, you can do so on the Indoor Football League's YouTube page, and that will kick off at 7 p.m. Central Time, which is for you Pacific Coasters, or should I say you West Coasters. If you would like to see the Cedar Rapids take on the Nebraska Danger on February 23rd, it would be 5 Pacific time. So 7 Central, 5 Pacific, or 8 Eastern 5 Pacific. And then on the 25th, we have Iowa Barnstormers on the road against the Green Bay Blizzard. That should be a good one, a great rivalry from last year. And then stop number 1 on the Fan Show Tour 2018, Sioux Falls Storm versus the Arizona Rattlers, a rematch of the 2017 United Bowl. So we're going to take one more commercial break, and then we will close up shop for Tuesday, so don't go anywhere. We've got more of the Fan Show coming up after this. You're listening to the Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's the Fan Show.
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It's like that scene in The Simpsons, like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. No, I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like, that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo.
Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again.
So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body, right?
Yeah.
And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com, or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here to finish off a Tuesday edition of the Fan Show. First one of the off season, which is the season for the Fan Show. And don't forget, of course, to go and check out Ram Tough Designs. They've been working hard for the Fan Show. I've got some new goodies here that will combine with the order that they put together for me. And it's going to be quite the experience this year on the Fan Show Tour. So big shout out to them, as well as Undisputed Belts. You know them, you love them. They make some of the best custom belts in the biz. But if custom belts aren't your style, they do have some great pre-made cookie cutter options for you. And they are your home base for all of your belt needs, whether it's fantasy football, sibling rivalry, or just office bragging rights. Check out UndisputedBelts.com. So, looking ahead at this week, there's not going to be a whole lot of headlines. I mean, there could be, and I'm not going to give a huge amount of time to the Olympics, but, you know, we're going to have indoor football, or the Indoor Football League and the National Arena League combined to make indoor football to talk about all spring and summer long. So that'll be good. That'll be our filler. Got guests that I need to confirm. They're lined up, not confirmed yet for tomorrow and Thursday, but we'll get to meet some of the new players and familiar faces of the Indoor Football League before their big kickoff next week and before the Fan Show Tour officially begins. But, you know, you can always go and buy merch at teespring.com/thefanshow. It helps fund the tour, so I encourage you to do that. And then, of course, if you know somebody looking for some ad spots, now's the time to do it. Grow your business. Get your name out there before everyone else is trying to when football season starts to ramp up again. So those are things that I'm sort of in the market for. But nonetheless, we're going to pull this thing off. We're going to make it happen. We're just over a month. Well, I won't do that countdown yet. But anyway, Full Sail University and my bachelor's program for the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting is still on schedule to start at its new scheduled start date, so that's good. But we're going to have a lot of fun here this spring and summer on the Fan Show. Hopefully a lot of great stories to come out of places like Nebraska and everywhere else. But, you know, it's always funny for me to think about the show's tour versus like when I was in a band and we were touring. Because when I was in a band and we toured, we went, of course, we played here, and then we would go to the Tri-Cities, which is 2 hours south of here, and then we would play in like Seattle, Portland, Boise, Salem, you know, around the Northwest, but it was like the big cities around the Northwest, and everybody loves Seattle. So it was a lot of fun, but, you're just like, yeah, we're going to go here, and it'll be a great time, rock out in all these different places. And then when you get into the world of sports and you talk about a tour, people are thinking, oh, man, you're going to go to like San Francisco, Miami, Dallas, New York. Not exactly. Des Moines, Iowa, Grand Island, Nebraska, Green Bay, Wisconsin, great football town. And, we'll hopefully make it all the way over to Greensboro, Carolina, Boston, Mass, and then, of course, Jacksonville, Florida. But, this is going to take some effort here. As I found out last night, it's not easy to fly beyond the Midwest here if you're from Spokane. So nothing against Spokane. It's just hard to do what I'm trying to do from here. If I lived in a city on the East Coast, it'd be a million times easier to try to pull off this whole thing. Unless I had to come to the West Coast. But even then, it's I don't foresee that in the very near future. But either way, here we are. So you can go and vote for the Fan Show for Best Media in Spokane Entrepreneurship Awards for 2018, the last year that I am eligible, that the show is eligible. A vote for the show is a vote for me, for Team Fan Show, the talented writers that I had all season long, the guests that have been on the show, and then, of course, you, Fan Nation, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this, and so I thank you for tuning in every night. Or for those of you that listen on demand, which you can do, SoundCloud, iTunes, and of course iHeartRadio. Go and subscribe to the podcast. Never miss a laugh when you subscribe to the Fan Show podcast. And then you can catch replays on WBLZ Sports. Download that app. Replays happen every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, so that's always fun. And then if you can listen live, remember, it's either thefanshow.com or Spreaker.com. And both of those have archives of all past episodes. So if you're not a podcaster, or if you want to search through some episodes, those are going to have all the way back to our very first episode, which I was going to post the first episode ever, but I was like, no, we've come too far. We've come so far since then. But it's all right. So, like I said, this week we've got guests, a lot of players. There's a great article about Cody Barber by Team Fan Show's own Connor Ferguson, Last Word on Sports. So go and check that out. I'll tweet out the link, but great read. Cody Barber, for those of you that don't know, good friend of mine. Met him in Bloomington last year. He then got picked up by the Barnstormers for their postseason push at the end of last year's season. And it's one of the funniest stories, but long story short, he is blind in one eye. He is a kicker who is blind in one eye. So if you thought kicking was hard, it's hey, try it with one eye. Yeah, he's blind in one eye, so he's legally blind, but he still makes it look easy. He's who I would want with the leg out there, and that's saying something because we've seen a lot of bad kickers, but he's a good one. He's a good guy. He's found a good home with the Barnstormers, so we will get a chance to talk to him, Herbert Gonzalez, Tyrell Pearson, Drew Powell, Brady Rowland, Ryan Ballantyne, hopefully Lorenzo Brown, and then Verlin Reed, maybe Anthony Amos again. I don't know. There's a lot of players out there that I love to catch up with before I run into them on the tour. But, of course, once I run into them, I'm just like, oh, yeah, let's get on the show. It's just like, duh, I've been trying to reach out to you forever. Oh, boy. So that will about do it for this first one. I'm going to wrap up a few minutes early here just because, like I said, it's the first day of the off-season. Things are a bit slow. But if you're enjoying the Winter Olympics, enjoy them. That's fine. Raw was last night. Side note on that, there wasn't a Raw Rewind article simply because I didn't see the point knowing that my schedule will change in a couple weeks where I won't even be able to watch Raw because I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to be to work at 5. So I'm not even going to be able to watch Raw before because I don't have the kind of cable where you get it 3 hours early, like as it's happening. I have to wait until 8 o'clock for it to air on its normally scheduled West Coast time. So I'm just going to do a This Week in Wrestling kind of recap. I'll take some notes when I watch the DVR recorded version of both Raw and SmackDown, and we'll have that out for you Wednesday. So we'll do something to keep you in the loop. Elimination Chamber 2 weeks away. We do know our 7 participants. That's right, not 6, but 7, because of the finish to the Fatal 5-Way with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor both pinning Bray Wyatt. John Cena and The Miz had a phenomenal match to open this thing up. I mean, I'd love to see The Miz and Braun Strowman as the top 2 guys. I know that they don't make a lot of sense, like as far as style and size-wise, but Braun Strowman is the champion we want. He's the champion we deserve. The Miz is the most underappreciated talent on that whole roster, and I think that he's going to be the guy in 2018 as well. But all these things that Vince wanted to happen with Roman Reigns are happening with Braun Strowman, and it's hilarious. I think the guy is absolutely hilarious. But nonetheless, should be a good time. Should be a good time as far as Elimination Chamber goes. Another themed pay-per-view that, you like it. So I just got a text from Marshall. Story about the bull ride was totally a joke. I didn't have time to clear that up. I think we kind of got that, Marshall. Gotta love Marshall. All right, so that's going to do it, folks. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the podcast form, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, listen live, thefanshow.com or Spreaker.com/thefanshow. Your home base for all things football and nonsense is thefanshow.com. You can go and read through anything that we've done. There was a lot of great articles from last football season. So it's going to be a little quiet around the Fan Show because so much time and effort and energy goes into the tour. But I think it'll be worth it. I think you guys are going to like what I have in store and what I attempt to accomplish this year. So by all means, stay tuned. Follow on Twitter at FanShowOfficial. The Instagram is The Fan Show. And, of course, give us a like, FanShowOfficial. All right? Facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. And, I thank you guys so much again for listening. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night!
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.